Welcome. In this session of Down to Earth, we'll focus on one of the very important topics, and that is related to environment. Firstly, the poor air quality, the poor soil quality, and then the concept of eco anxiety. Eco anxiety is a concept where the evidences show that people who are born in the last 25 years have never experienced a stable climate. As a result, they already have a feeling of anxiety continuously, and this has been given under the UN Environment Report 2024 called as Navigating New Horizons, where people are fueled with either anxiety, anger, or a sense of betrayal, and that has become a new normal. So the climate change that has been observed is by nearly 88% of the people who were surveyed under the UNEP survey, and impacted nearly 67% of the people's life. Now, some of the common effect that people have been feeling move around: higher temperatures, unexpected rainfalls, pollution, reduced food quality, and 94% of the people are concerned about their future. There has been a rising inequality, and most of the impact of climate change has been seen worst on the developing nations. Now, some of the common feelings that people go through include a concern for future, a kind of betrayal, fear for losing some important aspects of the life, anger, and a feeling of helplessness. And there has been a constant debate on what is called as eco anxiety. Now, there have been insights from 11 pioneers on eco anxiety regarding what should be the basic philosophy. So some of the important advocates and their concepts have been mentioned. Now, the basic idea is moving forward with collective action, which has been commonly seen in the rural areas, the indigenous wisdom, which is seen in the tribal groups and the forest areas, and then a systemic challenge that could challenge the existing system of waste and rethink the industries that are being shaped. Now, the recent episode of Indore, where the drinking water saw the mixing of the sewage, was another major concern, and these kind of eco anxieties have been off and on affecting the people commonly. Now, there have been 11 pioneers from different fields talking about the same. So Dia Mirza, who has an advocacy, focuses on the triple planetary crisis: individual responsibility, eco anxiety, and human health. The next is Tewang Chutski, talking about the focus on natural ice duration, which has dropped from 5 months to 2 months, climate change, and an importance of the traditional knowledge which binds it. From the literature, Kerakata has been talking about Adivasi identity, and the loss of language is equal to loss of ecological freedom. Jinali Moody talks about material science innovation. Banana waste leather would reduce the carbon dioxide and water usage by 95%. The concept of circular economy and moving beyond the plastic resources as one of the important aspects. Then Cleochin talks about accountability being held by the people. Kiran Rao talks about collective action. Then we have Mehrotra focusing on regional food and importance of regional and seasonal foods. Then Panda, which talks about who talks about the emotional realities of loss, the climate impact on sports. We have seen in the case of Wayanad flood, where there has been an impact on the ecological balance being lost. Extreme heat affects heat effect impacting the common people. From the literature, we have the Adi oral epics, which is basically preserving the ecological diversity, the rivers as a space for emotional healing, and then energy literacy, where we are talking about energy swaraj, shifting to finite consumption. So combating eco anxiety in one form or another has been really important. The next is the burden of change. Now, if we look onto the basic structure of eco anxiety, we would see there has been a higher use of single plastic, driving even for shorter distances, more energy consumption, and buying of imported goods and water wastage are some of the primary factors which have been creating hurdles for environment, not only for the rural areas but also for the urban areas. So if we talk about the impact of the risk, it is psychological, it is physical health, it is a very high risk of displacement, specifically for the marginalized communities, and ability to choose a lifestyle which has been a significant threat for the privileged class. So if we look onto the population decrease for Great Indian Bustard, we would see somewhere in 1969 the population was crossing 1200, which has reduced to somewhere less than 200, and this is one such example of the critically endangered species which has been declining over the years. Habitat loss has been seen, and the birds are now surviving only in captivity. So there has been a collective grief. It is not just the individual guilt, but it is also moving beyond the individual guilt and bringing in inclusive voices. The next is living in the shadow of disaster, basically in the regions of Dehradun, which was once considered as a city which was very, very lively with Sahasradhara. There has been a eco paralysis, which is a paralysis helplessness which brings in the people together, and they are now helpless, they are now they do not have a voice over. And the most important series, if we talk about, was there was a cloudburst in Sahasradhara, then there was preparation of the emergency ban, there was a nature fury that happened, and finally there was lightning and thunder. And all this was a series of steps that had led to a sudden increase in the water levels, sudden increase in the flash floods in the nearby areas. And if we look onto the rainfall predictability, the predictability has been declining significantly from 40% to 20%, but at the same time the average temperatures are rising from 30 to nearly 37 degrees Celsius, which is very, very high, and this has led to harsher summers and erratic monsoons with higher encroachment. Now if we look onto the green cover, it was in 1990s, the green cover was significantly at 75%, which has reduced to only 25%, and the remaining land has gone under encroachment. The ecological memory, the natural water flow, the waste free water, the water clarity was very, very high in 90s, which was ecological memory, and now it has been shrinked to mere numbers. And there has been this idea of loss of livelihood, helplessness due to unpredictable weather, plastic pollution, noise, construction, heat stress, and loss of greenery which has been seen. The next is in the areas of Panchanpur, Bihar, there has been a semi-urban crisis. Now it is a kind of hybrid settlement, neither fully urban nor fully rural, and there has been educational centers growing in this region, but there at the same time there are lack of governance. Now the growth drivers are the educational hubs coming in, the infrastructure projects, the commercial expansion, but there is no proper sewage facility, no waste collection, government mechanism is full failure there, and the conditions on the real ground are slum like. Now if this is the case with such poor indicators, even if the development indicators look good, there has been a gap between the real aspirations of the people and what they are actually getting. So with rapid construction and consumption, there is no alternative left for the people, just with open dumping and increased eco-anxiety. So this psychology of distress has been growing, where people are feeling are having a sense of guilt because they cannot do any proper action. Authorities are not allowing. So there is hypersensitivity to numerous issues. There is higher amount of damage and feeling of powerlessness that has been seen. And what has been mindset of the people is now just limited to few things that they can do, that is to restrain themselves from plastic, go for a reusable bag, segregate the waste, mindful consumption of resources, but those are those are too few efforts in light of what is actually required onto the ground. Now, in Delhi, we have been witnessing a severe AQI, which is the air quality index. Now, the airs have turned very, very significantly dangerous levels, crossing dangerous levels, and they are not leading to just physical disorders, but there are also psychological disorders popping up because of it. Now, the monthly cost of commuting has increased, which was in the previous years was just walking, has increased to somewhere nearly 17,000 per month, which is a significantly high month and high rate, and that is the rate which is being replaced just by the taxi charges that people are paying. And this is the direct monetary cost one is trying to pay just to protect their lungs, because they don't want to go out walking. They take a four-wheeler in order to protect themselves from the air pollution, which in turn leads to higher air pollution. So with toxic air, there is higher demand for private cabs, private taxis to escape that haze, and this ultimately leads to higher emissions. So it has been a vicious cycle which has been growing. Now, even the household spendings have been changing patterns. A significant amount has been going to healthcare, masks, gears, air purifiers, which were otherwise considered as free gift of nature. So the things which were never part of person's expenditure behavior have come into expenditure lists, right? So that is again taking a economic cost, the financial viabilities of an individual. For students, this has been a higher burden, because education is facing what is called as a health tax now, and there are chronic symptoms which are being witnessed by many individuals. Premature death of more than 1,000 people have been witnessed, which is a slow and silent killer. Not just this, there has been numerous debates on the impact of the AQI. So the safe AQI somewhere is considered at around 50. For Delhi, the peak season reaches somewhere beyond 450, and this has been increasing into intensity over the years, and from 2000 to 2023 and beyond that, the projected figures further increase it. Now, this has been increasing by the unlivable heat effects that are being created. Now, if we talk about the considerations, there are three important considerations. Acknowledging the complicity, which is the personal consumption which fuels the crisis, as we said, because people are going for more individual taxis, which is further affecting the environment. The ethics of fairness, whether we are trying to bring the lives under extreme events like extreme heat waves, severe droughts, or flash floods, and then the population burden on the region. So the growing population burden is again a very, very important aspect. So adoption, fostering, and advocacies are some of the important aspects that we need to understand. We have been constantly seeing a very significant decline in the air quality, and the outdoor air is more or large, by and large, vanishing, with most of the days being hazardous days in the normal air. This has created health dilemmas, moral dilemmas. Inequalities are being rising, because those who can't afford are the worst hit. They are most exposed to the outdoor pollution, and they are the ones who are on the minimum financial status in terms of expenditure. And if they spend that proportion of their income onto the resources that are required to protect themselves from air pollution, they further fall into the trap of economic distress. So loss of nature, health anxiety, waste management issues, administrative hurdles are some of the major things which have been affecting it, and this has led to toxic air quality, overflowing of the landfills, plastic pollution, tourism being unmanaged, and a political debate being rising around it. So what is important at this point is to generate more awareness, bring in more vocalization, and collectively resolve the issue. The next is the food that we are consuming. So how distant it is from the source, with high amount of chemical exposures and low soil connection that has been rising. So if we look onto the yield efficiency, the industries versus the traditional ones, there has been a very high differences. For chemical safety, soil health, there has been a significant impact. So what looks perfect and shiny vegetables are actually the fruits which are reminding you of a higher amount of pesticides. There are higher amount of anti-nutrients which are blocking the absorption of the nutrients, the chemical residues which are bioaccumulating into human bodies, and finally the toxins that are being inhaled and taken into the system. So if we talk about whole grains, right? So whole grains being soaked for hours and then slow cooking would give you a mindful eating, and that was a traditional way through which cooking was taken into consideration. However, with BioKirti, which is the organic initiative, we are trying to deepen the roots with the real world. So we are avoiding any kind of single-use disposable plastics, going for eco-friendly cleaners, and favoring local produce. So what happens is, with this, we are focusing on local sourcing, seasonal eating, and slow cooking time, which actually runs off most of the chemical exposures. The next is the environmental actions that have been taken. So in 2012, from Chennai to Varanasi, there was waste scattered everywhere. Then there were landfills that were being brought, and this was becoming a sole part of the environment literature. With professional action, there were waste warriors which were created, and this journey from Chennai to Varanasi talked about reducing the wastage on the ground and improving the soil quality. There was ideas of recycling establishments being built, bringing in community awareness, bringing in government policy advocates, and then scaling the crisis. So motivation and well-being with natural connection becomes an important way. If we talk about the cycle of disconnect and harmony, there have been important aspects. For disconnect, it is anxiety, which leads to unrest. Finally, consumption, which becomes higher as a therapeutic way to handle that unrest, finally leading to higher amount of waste and degradation. However, on the other hand, there is a mindful living which talks about the cycle of harmony with inner peace, reduced need for stuff, and sustainable habitat. So what we are trying to do is to have a journey through sustainability compromise, where we are focusing on chemical waste awareness, packaging, unboxing, social norms and gifts being decided, and then there is a drift between the synthetic and the organic compounds being used. So the synthetic compounds have higher chemical usage, more plastic usage, and hidden costs or hidden impacts, because let's say they are using bright colors. Now those bright colors are chemicals which are ultimately released into the water channels. So for this, cotton is considered as an ideal way. And then there are social frictions against that gifting, where there are conflicts on rejection of the natural material. So there are definitely ecological impacts, issues on social acceptance, and health safety on the other hand. But there has been an important cost of slow living, which is mindful living was slow, and this focuses on sourcing the groceries, minutes in the village, and then waste management as another important aspect. So what are the major issues that are taken into account is the corporate convenience and the sustainable habits that need to be well balanced. And the next one is, in the outskirts of the regions of Bikaner, we are talking about the Great Indian Bustard, where the range or the habitat of that is lost. So nearly 90% of the habitat being lost, with just 10% of the habitat being protected. And some of the most important affected species includes Great Indian Bustard, Indian Gazelle, black buck, and folk bush, which is a medicinal plant which is grown in that area and is very, very important to the local people. Now there has been habitat loss which has led to extinction of the species and ultimately degradation of the culture from that area. So the cultural rituals, the cultural songs, the vital pastures which are important, and the critical system has been declining. It has been faced with community protest, but there are educational foundations working for it. For example, ERDS Educational Foundation is teaching children in the region to manage the ecological anxiety through awareness programs and awareness drives that are being there. But this whole book was actually, this whole session was around eco anxiety built because of the ecological and the environmental distress on a common individual. So thanks for joining. In case you have any questions or queries, feel free to post those in the section below, and handouts for all these would be available on exam race in the current affairs section. Thanks for joining. Have a wonderful day.